Well, good evening, Steelers. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat over there. And if you're watching, in fact. If you're saying hello, if you're there, and you are saying hello, 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 give me a shout in the chat, and we'll get on with this evening's game of Eldritch Horror. This is the Fantasy Flight games of Cthulhu Madness, and I'm just gonna and this is the big scale game, I guess, of the Arkham Files games. I mean, this is quite an old one, quite a few years old now, but they keep releasing expansions for it, which is always good. And I think I've got most of them at this point, not all of them, but most of them. And as every game with Fantasy Flight, they're always token heavy. They're always there's always lots of cards. There's always lots of things going on. They do fill up a table very much, but they're very well thought out. And this one is, as I said, this is kind of top level version. So you've kind of got this, and then it goes down to, I would say, probably Arkham Horror 3rd edition, which is kind of like on a town and on the buildings and in the buildings and things in towns. Then you've kind of got Mansions of Madness, which is really just in one particular location, generally a house. And then you've also got Arkham Horror, the living card game, which kind of does everything really, which is quite nice. This one, as you can see, it looks a little bit like Risk. It's got the world map on here. And really, it's really just about trying to fight the great old ones. In the basic set, you get a choice of, I think there's 4 of them. Tonight I've gone for Cthulhu himself. So here's his card. And it says here, we start with 12 Doom. When that gets to 0, we flip the card and the old one, the great old one, has woken. And basically we've got to work our way through 3 of these mysteries, which are over here, before we to win the game, basically. Otherwise we have to defeat the great old one on the back of the card, depending on what he's done. I chose my character at random from the characters I've got, and I've got Silas Marsh, the sailor. So I shall start by introducing him. He starts in Sydney, Australia, so he's down here in the bottom corner. He's got a fishing net asset, which it says an item. You may reroll 1 dice when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. Reduce the damage of monsters you encounter by 1 to a minimum of 1. So that's pretty good. That's quite useful. It says here, even as a child in Innsmouth, Silas had a special connection to the sea. He's an able and well-reasoned man on land, but on the ocean he possesses a singular strength and wit. It's earned him a sterling reputation in every port across the globe, particularly in Sydney, where Silas set ashore last night. But this morning, the smell of the briny air carries dread as well as joy. There is something in his past, something in Innsmouth that he knows will someday catch up with him. Evening, Steve. Good to have you on board. As usual, I'm always getting a bit of lag on the comments, so throw your comments in as we go along, and I'll check them out every so often, and we'll have a chat. So I set the table up a while back. I actually say it takes quite about 20 minutes to set this thing up. It's quite a big it's a big game, a lot going on. We'll go through a couple of the things here. So we've got some of the cards here. These are the items. What we can see here, we've already got some out, so I'm going to go through these because I didn't look at them earlier. We've got a bank loan, which is when performing an acquire assets action, you can get a debt condition to immediately have 2 successes for your test results. So that basically just means you're trying to get something better, but you get a debt from your conditions, which is what it's just said. Specialised training task. When you perform a focus action, you may consult experts to train you with your willpower. If you pass, discard the card and improve a skill of your choice. Arcane Blade. A magical weapon, gain +2 strength when resolving combat encounters, and gain 2 lore when resolving spell effects. The missus is watching strictly, so I'm glad you're on. Well, we'll see how we go on this one, Steve. A lavish feast. When you gain this card, immediately recover 2 health and 2 sanity, and then discard. That's quite good. That only costs one dice roll, but you'll see that when we do it. Silver Twilight Ritual service. When you gain this card, immediately retreat 1 doom by 1, then discard this card. That is good as well. So that's making it a lot easier to win the game. So I'll hold on to that one and jump on that at some point in the future. So the way it works is basically the investigators get 2 turns. I'm playing as a single investigator. They get to move about the board, and what they want to do is really do encounters to try to, as I say, get rid of the Great Old One, Cthulhu himself in this particular case. And the way we do this is by solving these mysteries. So I'm going to leap straight into it. There's no point messing about going through everything. This is the first mystery, so this is the first thing that we've got to do and solve it. It says, eons ago, the relay arisen. Eons ago, the city of Relay was plunged into the bottom of the ocean by some forgotten disaster. It has remained trapped there, waiting for the right time to resurface. Now that moment has finally arrived. When this card enters play, place a mystery token on space 3, which is over here, which is about the right place for Relay itself, if you've ever looked up the coordinates of it, because they're actually in Call of Cthulhu, and you can look them up, and it is right in the centre of the South Atlantic. South Pacific. What am I about? It says, as an encounter, an investigator on space 3 may explore the island city of Relay while resolving a Relay Arisen special encounter, which is one of these ones down here. At the end of the Mythos Phase, if there are any Eldritch tokens on this card equal to half the investigators, solve this mystery. So when you half stuff, if you have to round it, you round it up. So basically one Eldritch token. So the way to get Eldritch tokens is by doing some investigations on Relay. So that's kind of what I'm going to try and do. Silas also, he's not only got his fishing net, but he can move a space along a ship path and then perform an additional action as well. So that's pretty good. He can move pretty quick on the sea. And what I want to be doing is really kind of getting the momentum going in the game to do that. It says if you are in a sea space, investigators on your space rolled an additional die when resolving tests. So I probably want to keep him on the sea if I can, as much as possible. And he also has a few statistics here. Law 1 is pretty low, unfortunately. Influence, he's got 3. Observation, he's got 3. Strength, he's got 3. And will, he has 3 as well. So he's pretty good overall and everything, but he's not very good with the law. So I'll be looking to try to pick up some items that can at least push that up a little bit. But we've also got, as well, just quickly to go through it, we've got a clue over on Tokyo as well. You can pick up the clues, they will help you. You can do an encounter to get those. We've also got a expedition encounter here on the Himalayas. This will come in if I go to the Himalayas and I do an expedition. I'll run it through that. And then over here in Arkham, we've actually got a gate and a ghoul. Now, the gates are the things that really upset us for when it comes later on when the Doom moves around. Because the more gates that are on the table, on the game, the quicker Doom goes down each turn. So you kind of want to keep on top of gates, but you also kind of want to be doing other bits and pieces. I think it's quite a difficult game, this one. They've only one player. But fortunately, you're only really pulling one Mythos card. Anyway, enough chat, enough gabble from me. As I take a wee drink, let's crack on. So first of all, we have the action phase. Then we go on to the encounters, and then we go on to the Mythos. So the action phase, I can perform two actions, but I can only do one of each per round. I can see there's 6 people watching this, only 2 likes. Give us a couple of likes, folks, if you're enjoying the game so far. And as I say, put a shout out in the chat. Tell me what you're up to while you're watching me play this. So the actions we can do is travel, move a space and spend travel tickets to move an additional space, prepare for travel, like gain a ticket, acquire assets, we test our influence to get assets from the reserve over here. We can rest and that'll recover us health and a sanity. We gather resources, we gain 1 resource up to the maximum of 2. And we trade, exchange any number of possessions with another investigator. Obviously I can't do that. Focus, we can gain a focus so we can get a skill better. So Silas probably wants to get his will up. And then components action, so that's anything that's on any cards or anything like that. Like I say, he's got an action here. So first things first, I want to be on Riley to try to at least do something there, don't I? So I'm here in Sydney, so I can move from Sydney all the way over. More AK-47 stuff. Good one, Steve. Nice. So I'm going to move straight to Riley itself. So he gets that action, and then it says move 1 space along the ship path, then perform an additional action. So I've actually got 2 extra actions now. So the first one is I'm going to improve my will. So I'll take a will token. Sorry, law, not will. I want to improve my law. So that gives me a +1 on my law. So that was his free action for moving. And now I have a second action. I can only gain assets when I'm in a city, so I'm not in the city. I could gain some resources. I could get a travel ticket as well, couldn't I? I can't remember what the resources are. Evening, Benjamin. Just undercoat some Pendraken at 1917 Palestine Brits. Nice, excellent. Good to see some more people doing First World War stuff. Come on, we got 10 viewers, only 4 likes. Hit that like button, please. Please do. Let me just have a look at resources, because I think I missed that in my read through earlier. I know resources come in other games, but I can't remember what they are in here. Possessions, pans, reckoning, reroll, research, reserve, rest. No. I wonder if that's a misspelling in the a misprint in the on the actions. Let me just 100% check it here, as I say. So again, making for good games, aren't I? By reading the rules. Let's have a look. Prepare for action, trade action, acquire assets, component actions. No, it says. That's interesting. I think maybe that's from one of the later sets. I just picked up one of the wrong cards here. Never mind. It's probably from one of the expansions, the Dreamlands, or even the Mask of Nyarlathotep. So I'll ignore that. I've already done my focus, so I can't do that again. Is there anything else that I can do? I don't think there is. Currently, well, I can prepare for. I can only prepare for travel in the city. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheat a bit. So the first go. So in the first turn, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to try and gather some resources. I'm not going to gather resources. I'm going to try to acquire assets. So I need to roll the dice equal to my my influence, and you pass on 5s and 6s on the dice, so it's quite an easy pass really. I've got these special Arkham Horror dice as well, which has got the older sign on them. So I need 5s and 6s, and I can then spend how much I want on these items here. I don't get any bonuses for this because I'm not on the sea. So let's see. So that is none. That's a 3, 3 and a 1. So I've not got anything. So that was my first action. Second action is now to move to relay itself, and then I will focus my law as well. So do forgive me. It's the first time I've played this game in quite a while, and I do forget what happens. Okay. So that's basically our action. So it says here, as an encounter, An investigator on Space 3 may explore the island of a relay by resolving a relay risen special encounter. And that is one of these ones here. So that's what I'm going to try to do. This is the encounter phase now. So first encounter phase. We turn the card, and this is what is called a complex encounter because it has, I don't know if you can see that in the little camera, it has 3 passages here. So we read the first one, we have to do a test, and then we either pass or we fail. And that is kind of almost like, what's it called, like a choose your own adventure. It says you recognise the alien landscape from a dream you've had. Lose 1 sanity. Straight in. Brilliant. I can only take 4 sanity, so that's knocked me down. You make your way to lose 1 sanity. You try to remember as many details as you can from the dream to navigate through the city. We have to do an eye test, an observation test, -1. So -1 is -1 dice. I have 3 for my observation. So a -1 dice takes me down to 2. However, if you are on a sea space, investigators on your space roll 1 additional die when resolving tests. So bang, there we go. So that takes that up to 3. So that's pretty good. Back up. So I need 5s and 6s on any of these. If I had a clue or something, I would be able to re-roll any of these, but I don't, so I can't. 6 and a 5 and a 1, so that is a pass. So that's 2 passes. That's good. So I just read the pass here. It says you make your way to a hidden chamber lined with strange glyphs carved into the stone. Some of the symbols seem familiar. Now I have to do a lore test -1. So I've got 2 for my lore because I put it up. That was fortunate. -1 though, so that takes it down to 1. But I've still got my special ability of adding 1 dice on a sea space. So it's back up to 2. So I need my 5s and 6s. That's what we get. A 5 and a 1. Yay, he's passed. If you pass, you learn some of the story of how the Elder Things trapped Cthulhu in this space. Place 1 Eldritch token on the active mystery. If you fail, the images fester in your subconscious. Get a paranoia. Okay, so Eldritch token. Bang that on there. And it says at the end of the Mythos phase, if there are Eldritch tokens on this card equal to half the investigators, we solve the mystery. Excuse me, so I have to get to the end of the Mythos phase, and we've solved the first mystery of 3. Now, okay, that seems a bit easy, doesn't it? However, it's going to get harder, I'm sure. So I'm going to stick that to one side, and that goes in the discard pile. And now we move on to the Mythos phase. So, we draw a single Mythos card and resolves the effects from the top to the bottom. After resolving the Mythos card, the lead investigator may pass leadership to another. Right, so these are the Mythos deck. This was created as part of the game creation. It's a complicated way of doing it, but it's the way it is. So, what happens on this is we have 3 symbols, and each of these means something. So we have, first of all, I want to read through exactly what these are because they are important and they have to be done in order as well. So the first one is Advance the Omen. Clock buys by 1. Then Advance Doom by 1 for each gate on the game board that corresponds to the current Omen. So the Omen is this one over here. It's currently on green and it moves round to a blue star formation. There's only 1 gate currently, and that's an Arkham, and that's a red one. So that's the next point. As soon as the Omen moves round, that'll kick that in. So we were okay there. We saved for a moment. Then we have a Reckoning. So we have to resolve all Reckoning effects. So these are any red card effects on any cards that we've got in play. We have one here on Cthulhu himself. Let me see. Reckoning. Each investigator on a sea space that does not contain an Eldritch token places an Eldritch token on his space. So there is now an Eldritch token on Relay itself with the mystery. And he says, when an investigator moves onto a space containing an Eldritch token, he becomes delayed and also loses the sanity. So that's already not good. I don't want to be going back there. And then our next one, so that was Reckoning. I don't have any Reckonings on any of my cards. Sometimes these come in when you've got weaknesses, or you have a condition that might have a Reckoning, or a spell or something might kick off on a Reckoning. The more you pick up, the more things happen. And then the next one is we spawn a gate. So spawn gate is indicated by the reference card, and spawn a monster on each newly spawned gate. So gates, as I said, these are the things that are a bit nasty, because the more of these on the table, the worse the game gets. So this is a gate pile. So the first one is in Rome, and it's a red one, so that goes there. Then we draw a monster with the gate. This is my monster bag full of monsters. I pull one out. If it doesn't have a specific place that it is located, it spawns at the gate. Otherwise it may actually move somewhere quickly. Let's have a look. We have a Wraith, and that does spawn somewhere. It says, when this monster is spawned, the leading investigator gets a cursed condition. See, it's not easy, this. It also says, when this monster is defeated, an investigator may discard a cursed condition. So that spawns in Rome, because he didn't have a place where it specifically spawned, so it spawns there. I'm going to Rome next week, so I hope there's no gates. And then I also get a cursed condition as well. So I need to find one out of the pile of curse conditions. Normally you draw these from the bottom, but because I'm finding a specific condition, I'll just go through and get the top one that I find. So cursed, Bane. Only 6s count as successes on your tests. If you would gain another cursed condition, flip this card instead. If you would gain a blessed condition, discard this card instead. On a Reckoning, I roll a dice. On a 4, a 5 or a 6, I can discard the card. So it's got a Reckoning thing as well, so I can at least try to get rid of it at some point if I get blessed, or if there's another Reckoning. Right. We're still going, because we haven't finished this card yet. That was just the 3 symbols. It says, he writes the price on a piece of paper and slides it across the table. It's more than you can afford, but you don't have any other options, and this greedy lout knows it. Everyone has a price. Event. Each investigator may gain a debt condition to discard 1 condition. Well, if I get a debt condition, that's going to be better than the Bane, because I'm rolling 6s on the Bane. I'd rather have a debt, so I'm going to take a debt condition and discard the Bane. So there we go. Find the top debt. Just stick that back on top there. Sorry, as I discard it, it'll go in the discard pile. That's out. And this is a debt condition. Deal, common. Local action. Test influence. If you pass, discard this card. So that's an action I can do. And then on the Reckoning it says, some men have come to collect on your debt, flip this card. So that's not going to be good, obviously, is it, when people turn up. And I can see there's 9 people watching. Say hello in the chat. Do say hello. Ask any questions you want about the game. I will get to them. Okay, so that was the first Mythos phase. So that's pretty much done and out of the way. So Mythos phase is done, and it said, as an encounter at the end of the Mythos phase, if there are Eldritch tokens on this card equal to half the investigators, which there are, solve this mystery. So we now draw a new mystery. So this is our second mystery now. The stars are right. All around the world, Cthulhu's worshippers and those sensitive to his dreams have been plagued by madness. They rush to the sea to witness the Ancient One's return. When this card enters play, move each clue on the game board to the nearest sea space. So I've got one here in Tokyo. The nearest sea space is number 20 there. No, it's not even a sea space. There it is, number 2. I don't have the other clues either. After an investigator resolves a research encounter, he may spend 1 clue he gained from that encounter and place that clue on this card. at the end of the Mythos phase, if there are clues on this card equal to investigators, solve the mystery. So let's just read through that again. After an investigator resolves a research encounter, he may spend one clue he gained from that encounter and place that clue on the card. So at the end, so basically what I've got to do is get up to the sea space up there of San Francisco, which is quite a way away, and Tokyo, and basically get that clue. If I can do that, I can get that clue onto this encounter, onto this mystery, should I say, and then solve this one. So that's kind of what I'm going to be going for as soon as I can get up there. Okay. So it's now back to my action turn, and I've got 2 actions. And I need to get somewhere, don't I? Well, first action is going to be moving along the ship path, so that gives me an additional action. My additional action is going to be to shift myself up to there, to the 7, to push myself a bit further forward. I need to get as to this clue over here as quick as possible, because things will kick off. And as a final action, I'm going to try to get rid of this debt condition. So I'm going to test influence. So I've got 3 influence. I'm not on a sea space, so I don't get that extra additional action that I normally would do, but I'm looking for 5s and 6s. And we've got a 6 there, so yes, I've passed it. That's good. If you pass, discard this card. So I will. That's good. That's got rid of that. So that was my second action. Evening, Kevin. Hi, this game looks interesting. He sets it up. My lad used to play this game, as a few of the others as well. I'll have to get to play through it sometime for me. Yeah, it's a good game, actually, Kevin. It's like all of these games, it's much better when there's a group of you than playing it solo. But I just thought I fancied a game of it. I've not played it for a little while, so I thought I'll break it out and do a live video on it as well. But yeah, it's good fun. And there's quite a lot of investigators running all over the board, because you can get a bit manic. Alright, so that's the end of my actions. That's all I can do. So it's over to the encounter turn. And now, this is different because I am now on a generic city space in Central America. So I'll just take a normal generic encounter. And what you do is basically you take this, turn it over, and there's either city, wilderness or sea, depending on which space you're on and what the space is. And in this case I'm on a city, because you've got the symbol of the city. It says corrupt members of the police force pressure you for a bribe. You speak to some people you know to take care of the problem. So this is another influence test of 3, and again I'm still not on that city, so I'm still on the city rather than on the ocean, so I'm only rolling 3. I've got 6, that's a pass. If you pass, the police are apologetic and share their leads with you. Spawn a clue. So this is good. I take a clue from here. These are all face down. I just turn one at random over, and it spawns in San Francisco, which is where I'm going to. So I could possibly try and gather that clue if I end up in San Francisco next turn, which I might do. Because I'll be taking a sea voyage there. So that's that one done. I passed it, so that was the encounter. But then, of course, now we're on to the Mythos phase, of course, aren't we? Hey, come on, folks. I can see there's 13 people watching now. 6 likes. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the narrative. So we're over to our encounter. So, unfortunately, we advance the Omen first of all. As you can see, I'm not particularly familiar with these rules because it's been a while since I played it. So that's gone round, and that's gone onto the red one, the red circle. The red circle corresponds with Rome and with Arkham itself. Then advance the Doom by 1 for each gate on the game board that corresponds to the current Doom. So currently the Doom is on 12, and this flips down to 10. Oh my goodness! I should mention that I got the tokens and things from Gaming Enhancements as well. They're the Litco versions. I just upped the game a little bit because I like doing things like that. And then we resolve the Reckoning effects. Resolve Reckoning effects on components in the following order: monsters, ancient ones, mythos, and then possessions. So monsters, first of all, each investigator on a sea space that does not contain an Eldritch token places an Eldritch token on his space. I'm not on a sea space, thankfully, this time. I'm in the city, so I don't have to put an Eldritch token down. Do we have any other reckonings? No, I don't think so. Not yet. We're all right. But we spawn another gate. So this pops out where? Istanbul, not Constantinople. And then with that, we also get a monster. So let's see. So now we've got 3. So you can see it soon speeds up, because the next time the omen advances, it's going to be on a blue symbol, but after that it's going to be a green symbol, which is what Istanbul is. So look, we have a Night Gaunt. That has a reckoning effect, so that will be flipped when there's a reckoning. That doesn't have a space where it appears, so it just appears in Istanbul. So we've currently got a ghoul up in Arkham, a wraith in Rome, and a Night Gaunt in Istanbul. The old ones are starting to gather, aren't they? This is not nice so far. We still haven't finished. Once inside the lodge, your host invites you to follow him upstairs. Several members there stare in astonishment, probably because I'm shirtless, and he's pretty buff. He's Silas Marsh. Outsiders are rarely granted such access. At the top of the stairs, you are ushered into the library filled with the rare and exotic tomes. Now, he says, how can we help you? So this is a Silver Twilight Aid event. Each investigator may do one of the following: gain a clue, gain an asset, or gain a spell. Now that is a good question, isn't it? What should I do? I think, I'm going to get a clue, because clues, you can spend clues to re-roll dice. And I'm a little bit worried about that law being quite low. So I've got a feeling it's going to come into play at some point. So I kind of want to be able to re-roll the dice at least on that test. So I'm going to take that clue. So that was pretty good. That wasn't a bad Mythos Phase. Well, not too bad anyway. If you're out there watching, enjoying, say hello in the chat. As I say, ask questions if you're enjoying the game, or you want to know anything about what I'm playing. I will get around to saying, and just say hello. It's always very quiet whenever I play a game. Everybody's really quiet in chat. Only when I'm painting do you all start harping on. Okay, so that was a Mythos Phase. So I feel like I'm being lulled into a sense of false security at this point, because things seem to be going my way. But I've played enough Arkham Files games to know that this is not going to last. So I may as well enjoy it while it lasts. Right, back to the actions. Players' actions. So I'm back to my 2 now. I've got to think about what I want to do here, because I need to get out to here to do a to do my next task, don't I? And it says, let's just check it. After an investigator resolves a research encounter, he may spend 1 clue he gained from that encounter to place a clue on this card. Well, it doesn't really say, actually. Yeah, it doesn't really say that. It could be any clue, so I could go to San Francisco and mess about in there for a bit, like maybe go and pick some stuff up for later and get that clue and then place that on the card, and that would advance that mystery. Basically, what I need to do, I can't use this clue here because that one didn't come from a research action. It has to be from from the actual research action over there instead. So, well, obviously, first thing I'm going to do anyway is going to move to San Francisco, and I moved on a sea lane. So, being Silas, I get that extra additional action. So for my extra action, I'm going to rest. So that gets rid of that horror. So that takes me back up to my normal 4. So that was my second action. So now my normal action, that was my free action, should I say. So my normal second action is see what we can do and have a think about it. Prepare for travel, so that gets a travel ticket. Acquire assets. So that's what I said I was going to do, wasn't it? I was going to try to acquire some assets. And I've got these ones here that I could possibly choose from. So I'm going to try and do that. So I'm going to try my influence as I truck around in San Francisco. Let's see how many. This is how many of these I pass is how much I've got to spend basically. So I've passed on 2, so 2 5s and a 4. So I've got up to 2 to spend, or just on 1 card. And the only ones I can buy, however, I could always use the bank loan and get a deck condition and immediately add 2 successes for the test rolls. That could take me up to 4, but I would end up with a debt as well. I don't really want that condition. So, I shouldn't have got rid of the what you call it, the sanity, because I could have taken lavish feast and that would have got rid of it. But then that gives rid of 2 of them. I'm going to take specialised training for 1, because I think that kind of fits with Silas. And it says, when you perform a focus action, you may consult experts to train you. If you pass, improve 1 skill of your choice, and discard this. That seems, I don't know, that seems a bit strange, that. When you perform a focus action, you may consult experts and train you. If you pass, discard this card and improve 1 skill of your choice. Yeah. Well, that's just the same as doing a focus action anyway. Seems a bit of a weird card, that. And yeah, I'll take it anyway. I've got nothing else to do while I'm trucking about in San Francisco. So now we've got a space here in the reserve, so basically I just draw the top card here and put this down. So we've got Agents of Secrets. She costs 4. He's an ally. You gain 1 law and 1 observation, and you may reroll 1 die when resolving a law or an observation test. So she's pretty good actually. I recognise that's artwork from Arkham Horror, the card game as well. Alright. So far so good, everybody. Fingers crossed that nothing bad's going to happen. Alright then. We are now onto our encounters. So, I need to do a clue encounter because I'm on that clue. So this is slightly different. Another deck here. This is the Cthulhu clue encounters. So basically I take this one and I am in a city. The librarian tells you that the book you are looking for was checked out by someone named Mr. Marsh. I know that guy. He lives over in Innsmouth. You scour the city to find him before he leaves town. I have to do an observation test. And my observation is 3. Have I got anything that I can bump that up with? No, I can't. I've only got. I could spend the clue to re-roll the dice. So let's see what we get anyway. 5, 2 and a 3, so I've passed. If you pass, you manage to steal the book from his hotel room. Gain this clue. So I've got the clue there, so that's good. So let me take that clue. And it says, after an investigator resolves a research encounter, he may spend 1 clue he gained from that encounter and place the clue on this card. There you go. I'm going to spend it and put it on that card. And it says, at the end of the Mythos Phase, if there are any clues on this card equal to investigators, solve this mystery. Now, again, I'm really, I'm a little bit worried about this because I've never done as well as I've done so far. I don't want to jinx it, but I probably have done by just saying that. But so far, this is the best that I've ever done. Perhaps it's just because I'm actually going for the goal of the game itself rather than just messing about like I normally do. I think also what's helping is that extra action that he's using as well, and the fact that the clues were quite close to each other. But all could end, so I don't want to jinx it, because we're now onto the Mythos phase. So we draw the top card. We spawn a clue first of all. So we spawn one clue here, and this ends up in Shanghai. Shanghai is over here. And then we also have a mystery. I think it's a mystery. Sorry, a place, a rumour token on the indicated space. And my rumour tokens are in the box because I've stupidly forgot to take them out. So again, making for great YouTube here. There they are. Let's see them. There we have it. We place the mystery token. Where am I? On space 12. So it's down here. Now this is these are always horrible things because they're kind of reoccurring. After a sudden burst of flying debris, you are confronted by a terrifying figure. It is a stark reminder that dark forces in this world are working tirelessly to annihilate you. Thanks, guys. Return of the Ancient Ones. Ongoing. Rumour. When an investigator on Space 19 defeats a monster, he may spend one clue to place that monster on this card. When the total toughness of monsters on this card is equal to or greater than investigators, so 1, we solve the rumour. But it also has a reckoning as well. So if the reckoning comes round, then something terrible will happen. It says spawn a monster on Space 19, then if there are 4 more monsters on Space 19, advance the doom to 0 and resolve this rumour. So basically, that's another clock that is now ticking down against me. So as I say, these things, they start off quite nice, and then all of a sudden you get a card like that that just comes and kicks you in the small and curlies. However, that's the end of the Mythos phase. And if you remember, at the end of the Mythos phase, if there are clues on this card equal to investigators, solve the mystery. So we've just solved the stars are right. So I'm going to put that back in that pile. So we draw our third and final mystery. So I've got to actually beat this one. Let's see what this one says. Watching the stars. From the sunken city of Jir, Cthulhu rises to fulfill her destiny. Daughter of Cthulhu, she will give birth to the reincarnation of her father, should his body ever be destroyed. That's good. When this card enters play, spawn the Cthulhu epic monster on space 12. At the end of the Mythos phase, if the Cthulhu epic monster has been defeated, solve this myth. Brilliant. So I've got to go and find a monster on space 12. Where is that? Ah, it's down here where the rumour is. So there's going to be even more monsters coming up. So this is not good, is it? There's Cthulhu. So these are the epic monsters. These are specific ones. All the other creature features are in there, in the monster bag. So I've got to find that specific creature, Cthulhu. I don't think I've ever heard of her before. Well, we've got a couple of Cthulhus, but no Cthulhus. Let's have a look. Got to be in here somewhere. I'm sure of it. There's a Dunwich horror. Yeah, we've got 2 Cthulhus, but no Cthulhu. Wonder if one of those is supposed to be the one. Unless it's also in the. That is interesting. Let's just see. No, they're the same. Those 2 Cthulhus are the same. I suppose I'm going to have to just use a Cthulhu, aren't I? Well, there he is. I wonder if that's something something missing in the game. I assume it probably is, because I don't think the other. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Cthulhu, there they are, hiding around at the bottom. Oh, I didn't see them in the shadow. Here it is. We're allowed to look at the back, so I'm going to anyway. When you attack, you have to do a willpower test, and it gives you a -1 straight away, and causes 4 damage. So that's not great anyway. Then when you attack with a strength, it's a -2, and you have to beat it by 2 as well. And also, a Deep 1 monster ambushes the nearest investigator in a reckoning, and the toughness is equal to investigators +2. That's great. So that's 3 toughness. So I've got to cause 3 damage on it, and it weakens me as well. So I've basically got to get down there, fight Cthulhu, stop any of these creatures coming out with the ongoing rumour as well down on Space 12. So that's not good, is it? So as I say, this game, it literally turns on a dime like that. I've done 2. I've got so far, and I'm just going to get my head kicked in now. But that's the way it is. Okay, so that was it's the start of my turn, isn't it? Right. So I need to start moving back down there, really. Right, if I move along a ship path, I can perform an additional action, so I can double move at least. I don't know if that's true, actually. I was thinking about it. I've been doing it, but you're only allowed to do 1 of each action per phase. So I don't know exactly if I'm allowed to double move as that free action. I've been doing it, so I'm going to allow myself to do it, because at least it's helping me win the game, even if it's slightly cheating. Because I mean, the game is hard enough anyway, to be perfectly honest. Right, so I'm going to move by the sea to the city there, but then I'm going to get that extra bonus move of going to Buenos Aires. I think I'm going to need to get a weapon in here, and I want that Arcane Blade. That's going to give me a +2 in strength when resolving combat, and also a +2 in lore when resolving spell effects. I'm going to need it to fight this creature, aren't I? So I'm going to try for me final action to do a influence test and hopefully pass all 3 of these. 4, 2 and a 6. So I've passed 1. The only thing I can get is a lavish feast. I could get that bank loan, and then I'll get a debt condition, but at least I'll get that Arcane Blade. Bit of a tough one, that, I think. I'm going to do it, you know. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take a debt condition, and then I will also get that Arcane Blade. So I just need to find me a debt. The top one. Come on, there must be one in here somewhere. Righteous, cursed, bites, skullduggery, hallucinations, blessed. Come on, you got to be in here. There must be at least one of them. Amnesia, hallucinations, detained, eternal injury, dark pact, headstrong, back injury, debt. Finally, all the way down the bottom. Right. So this says, local action, test influence. If you pass, discard this card. Some men have come to collect your debt, and then we flip the card. That's on a reckoning. So we don't know what happens until a reckoning kicks off. Which it probably will do at some point. I'm fairly certain that was the Mythos card that I'd already done, wasn't it? Oh no, that's still ongoing, isn't it? So that should be there, really. As I say, you're all very quiet in chat. Do say hello. If you're not saying anything, I don't know if you're enjoying it. Where was I? That was it. I was taking the Arcane Blade. So that's a magical weapon. Gives me a +2 strength when resolving combat encounters, which I'm going to need against Cthulhu. So then we draw a new card over here. Double barrel shotgun. That would have been useful. That's a +4 during combat encounters. And for each 6 you roll when resolving a strength test, counts as 2 successes. That would have been much better. But that's 4. I've already got my debt. And I can't actually... I could hang around and try and get it again. Get another debt, perhaps. I don't know. What do you think? Was it worth it? Debts are never good, really. Better not to have them. Alright. That's Silas's actions phase over. So we go on to the encounter phase. Now I'm currently in Buenos Aires, so I'm going to take a specific card. And this... It says here, it gives you a little bit of an idea of what might happen if you pass your tests here. And it says gain ritual spells. So a spell is probably going to be pretty good, I guess. And you've got the 3 different cities as well: Arkham, San Francisco, or Buenos Aires. And you choose whichever one and you read it out. It says, at the hospital in Buenos Aires, you find a bald old man with leathery skin and a flat face. He speaks very slowly, but his story is fascinating. You become delayed to gain 2 spells. He says you may become delayed to gain 2 spells as he recounts all the details of his time worshipping the Father of Serpents. Delayed means I lose a turn. But the problem is spells only really work on lore, and Silas's lore is not very good. So is it worth me missing a turn to take that hit? I don't think it is. I'm going to ignore that encounter. I'm not going to take it. If I had more magic use, then I'd probably go for the spells, but I'm not, and I don't want to. I'm going to stick with what I've got. It may be foolish because I may end up getting devoured by some epic monster, but so is life. Right. Mythos Phase, of course. What time are we on? 25 past 8. Oh, we've got a clue. We spawn a clue first of all, and that is in number 19. Where is 19? There's 18, 17, 12. Sometimes it's hard to find these things. 19, there we are. All the way up there in Vladivostok. And then another rumour has appeared on Space 7. So that was just where we just come from. Mexico City, I guess. A dozen unpleasant looking strangers have settled into Panama with a large collection of astronomical reference books. There is something unique about this place and time that allows them to rip apart the fabric of realities. The stars are aligned, so this is an ongoing rumour. As an encounter, an investigator on Space 7 may attempt to find the strangers based on his observations of the stars. That's a looking test, a observation test. And it says if you pass, he convinces La Policia to remove these strangers. You may spend a clue equal to half the number of investigators, so 1, to solve this rumour. On a reckoning, we advance the omen by 1 as well, so that's not good either. That's the Mythos phase done at least, so at least I've got past those unscathed. I don't like these rumours because they're starting to build up a little bit now. As soon as we get to reckoning, everything is going to kick off. You watch. But I need to go and defeat Cthulhu. That's my big thing. So it's back to me. My actions. Well, what can I do? I could try and get that double barrel shotgun before I leave and go and see what's happening with Cthulhu. That would be an action, that would be an action. Because I'd have to have a combat encounter with them there. Alternatively, yeah, that's about all I can do really, isn't it? I want to get tooled up before I go anywhere. Because I'm going to be fighting big monsters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get as many... I need at least 2 passes. Because the double barrel shotgun is 4. And I can get a bank loan to push it up to 4. So I need at least 2 to get it up, because that gives me 2 successes, if that makes sense. So So let's have a look. Hey, we've got 2 successes. That's 2 5s and a 1. So I've actually got enough here to get that double barrel shotgun. But I'd have to take another debt to do so. And I'm going to, because I want that weapon. So I'm going to take another debt. And if I remember correctly, the debts were way down here. So I'm just going to pull one out from the bottom somewhere. I'm going to find them. Don't think I'd shuffled these very well. There we are, debt condition. And unfortunately on the Reckoning, that means both of these are going to get flipped. So I'm kind of stacking stuff against me, but I need to be in a position to fight this monster. That's all I'm fixated on right now. But as soon as we get a Reckoning, we've got these things happening. So I've got the Advance Human, we've got Spawn a Monster, and then also we've got to flip these 2 cards as well on the deck. Plus we've also got Cthulhu's Reckoning as well. Whenever he flips, something happens as well, doesn't it? Oh yeah, we get Eldritch tokens on things, and we don't like that. Alright, so that was my first action. Oh, I'll draw my new reserve card. This is a Vatican Missionary. Is an ally, you gain +1 will, and you may reroll 1 die when resolving a will test. Right, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to use my final action as a move action to there to go and fight Cthulhu. And you know what I'm going to do? I am then going to put up my will with that free action that I've got. I'm going to focus my will because I've moved by a C lane. Focus the will there, so now I'll put a 4 because I know I'm going to have to do the horror fight with the creature. So it's encounter, it's combat encounters. Flip the monster token and resolve both tests in order. Some monsters have additional effects indicated on the token. So we flip that over. So the first test is as I say, it's a willpower, but it's a -1, and it's against a 4. For everything I lose by, I gain a horror, and then I have to do a strength test, which is a -2 straight away. But they've only got a 2. I need to get 2 or more, and their toughness is 3. So I need to do as much damage as possible to Cthulhu to win this game. And I could touch wood. I don't want to jinx it, but I could actually win this at this point if I can survive. Let's just see. Let's go through it, shall we? So first of all, we're doing our will test. So I'm starting with 4 because I just focused. -1 because Cthulhu is nasty. And I've got the fishing net, which rerolls. I can reroll a die when resolving strength tests during a combat encounter, and I also reduce the damage of monsters to a minimum of 1 by 1. Sorry, to a minimum of 1. So that takes their damage down to 1. No. Yeah, their damage goes down to 1 instead of 2. I've also got this magical weapon, which will give me a +2 in strength, but I've also got the double barrel shotgun, which gives me a +4 in strength during combat encounters. You can only use 1 at a time. So, and every 6 I roll in strength counts as a combat encounter, counts as 2 successes. So let's work this out mathematically. First of all, I've got to roll 3 dice. I can spend a clue to re-roll any of those dice as well, any time in any of these. I've also got on the C space, investigators on your space roll an additional dice when resolving tests. So I actually get 4 dice against the will test in the first place. So at least I need to pass as many of these as possible, because whatever I fail by, I will lose that many sanity, and I've only got 4 sanity. So if I fail all of these, then I'm straight out. So, you know, all to play for. Yay, I've failed them all. I've got 1, a 2, a 1 and a 3. So that's good, isn't it? However, I'm going to spend this clue. So that goes over there. I discarded actually, and I get to re-roll 1 dice. So I'm going to re-roll the dice, and I need a 5 or a 6 on this. Otherwise, I am knocked out of the game. 4. Silas is knocked out. So basically, that's him destroyed. So I place him on the side there. I put a madness token on him. All his items, all his conditions get gone. All his focus gets gone. All his items go together with his card over here, and then I have to choose a new investigator. That was amazing. Amazing. So now I have to choose a new investigator to bring into the game to continue the game on. So I'm going to grab the investigator pile. It's over here by the mic. Oh, knock that camera over. I give these a quick shuffle, and I'll just draw one out. And then, which I was so close to ending that game. See, this is what I mean. This game just literally turns around and absolutely kicks you in the nuts when you don't really want it. Right, so I'll draw the bottom card. It is Daniela Reyes, the mechanic. So let's have a read of Daniela, see what she's all about. She starts with 1 headstrong condition and 1 clue and a resource. But again, resources I think are from one of the later ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore Danielle. I'm going to put her to one side. I'm going to take the top one here instead. So this is Mark Corrigan. Let's see if he's one of the basic ones. I'm just trying to play with the basic character at the moment because I can't remember what the resources do. So read about Mark Corrigan. He starts in Northern Europe, space 14, so that's great. Miles away from where I need to be, I think. So let me just find Mark's character card. What I can do though with Mark is I can actually go and check out Silas's body and see if I can cure him and then get some of the stuff off him at least. Let me just find Mark's character card here. And I thought I'd finish this game then. Just shows you, doesn't it? There you go. That's Cthulhu all over. Where are you, Mark? You've got to have the right character, haven't you? He's in here somewhere. He's probably hiding like the other ones. Yeah. Come on, follow me, lad. Should have had these prepared, shouldn't I? Maybe he's in one of the other boxes. What I'll do is I'll just use Schizo tool for now. Nobody will notice. It's not like there's anybody watching, I'm sure. Right, so he also starts with some stuff. Let's have a look. What? He's got a 38 revolver and kerosene as well, so I need to find a 38 revolver and the kerosene. So let's quickly go through here. There's a 38 revolver and kerosene. So we'll see what these do. The 38 revolver gives a +2 strength during combat encounters, so that's useful because that's what I'm going to be trying to do. And then also for kerosene, you can discard this card to gain +5 strength during a combat encounter, so that is very useful for what I need. Where does he start? Space 14, Northern Europe. There he is, up miles away from where we need it to be, so that's ace. And it says, during the war, Mark witnessed horrors he could not explain, and he wrote of what he saw in letters to his beloved wife Sophie. When Mark returned home, he discovered that Sophie was no longer human. One of the beasts that Mark had seen overseas had taken over her body, killing her in the process. Afterward, Mark's thirst for vengeance led him to Helsinki, where some of those creatures had posed as German soldiers during the Great War. So he's a First World War veteran, is Mark. it says action. You and one monster on your space each lose 1 health. Well, that's pretty good, so that's useful. So you can basically just hammer away at them. You cannot become delayed or gain a detained condition unless you choose to. I'm walking out that door and I'm taking this book. Anyone who wants to stop me is welcome to try. That's what Mark says. Let's have a quick look at his skills. He's got Lore of 1, Influence of 2, Observation of 2, Strength of 4, which is what we need, and Will of 4. So good. I've got a high will and I've got a high strength. So I might not need Silas's weapons to get on. But I've got quite a way to go before I can defeat Cthulhu. I've got at least several journeys to take here. So I'm going to need to pick up some sea tokens to get me down there. This is going to take a while. I'm at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps away. Is that 6 turns worth away? Yeah. This is not looking good already. Right. Anyway, we can't worry. We've got to move on. So that was Silas anyway, wasn't it? So that his turn is done. I'm probably not really supposed to pick Mark up until the end of the Mythos phase. So we basically go on to the encounter phase. Silas can't have an encounter phase, so we have a Mythos phase before Mark enters the game. So I'm going to draw the card for the Mythos phase. And it is, oh, excellent, the old tick-tock clock turns round. Fortunately, there are no... there's nothing on there, there's no gates with that number on. Do I spawn a gate? I can never remember. If there's nothing on it. Let me just remember, because I think that might be something that I've done wrong in the past and done wrong now. I think it's just on the let's have a look. Omen Advance. Oh no, it's only you only spawn extra gates if you get a monster surge, and there's no matching gates, so it's not on the Omen Advance. So the Omen Advance is okay. I'm cool with that. Like fonts. However, brilliant. We've got the Reckoning. So we've got to work our way through these reckonings first of all, and there is a list of them. So we'll go through monsters on the game board. So the first reckoning is, we've got the Night Gaunt and Cthulhu. The Night Gaunt appeared before the reckoning last time, didn't it? Right, first of all, if there is an investigator on this space, move him and this monster 1 space and he becomes delayed. Otherwise, move this monster 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator. 1, 2. So, on Mark. You can tell this is an older game because it just uses his for everything. It doesn't say his or hers like they do later, or theirs. You can tell it's an older game. Just a little bit of a thing to think about there. Okay, so that was that one's reckoning. So now we've got Cthulhu's reckoning. We flip this over. A deep 1 monster ambushes the nearest investigator. Right, so we've got a deep 1 here. That is going to jump out. Now, let me just mug up on ambushes. Ambush. When a monster ambushes an investigator, draw 1 random monster, well this one, from the monster cup. The investigator immediately encounters it. The monster is not spawned. If it has when spawned effects, do not resolve that effect. However, we are actually... I'm still in the Mythos phase and Mark hasn't currently appeared, has he? So let me just move that back to Istanbul, because there's no investigators on the board at the moment. So I could forget this for now. So yeah, that doesn't move and that doesn't ambush me, simply because I'm not actually on the board and Silas is already downed. It seems a little gamey for me to do that, but anything that'll help at this point of the game is good. Okay, so we've done the monster ones. Then we do the ancient one sheet. So this is this one here. Each investigator on the sea space does not contain an Eldritch token. Place an Eldritch token on their space. There is none because Silas is out. And then we do any Mythos cards in play. That's these 2 here. And then any possessions and conditions held by investigators. Again, I don't have any of those. So we've got to do these ones. First one. advance the omen by 1. Oh, that goes on to green. So, green is the colour of the one in Istanbul, the gate in Istanbul, so that moves our Doom track down to 9 straight away. And then the next one, spawn 1 monster on space 19. Then, if there are 4 or more monsters on space 19, advance Doom to 0 and solve this rumour. So where's space 19? Oh, it's up in that top corner, isn't it? Evening, friends of General Haig. Evening, Alex and all. Guessing we're not in Kansas anymore. Certainly not. We are getting hammered by the great old ones at this point. Right, so we spawned a zombie over in Vladivostok. That's also got a reckoning token on it as well, so that will do something. Will happen if there's another reckoning at some point. So that was that. That was those. Was their reckonings and everything else. I've got no other cards. So, start the player phase now. Mark appears. So he appears, as we said. Where was it? Northern Europe, wasn't it? In space 14. That's right. Let me just check my messages. One second, folks. And right. So it's my actions now for Mark. Like I said before, basically I just need to get as quickly down as far away as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a prepare to travel. So I'm going to take a sea token. You can only have one each of these, a sea or a train token. I'm going to take the train down to Rome, and then I'm going to spend that sea token and go straight down to there, to the wilderness, to number 10. I'm going to flip past that wraith that's in Rome, because like I say, I need to get down here as quick as possible. So my next action will probably come down here and prepare to travel down here. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I still haven't even finished the Mythos Phase yet. So I did those. I spawned the monsters, all that stuff. Right. That was the reckoning. Anyway, so the next one. There's so much to do. Spawn a gate. So we spawn a new gate. Where does this come up? San Francisco, and this is a green one. So this comes out with another monster. Let's see what this monster is. It is a werewolf. A werewolf in San Francisco. So that's over there. So now we've, as I say, these things, it suddenly jumps up, doesn't it? We've already got 4 gates on the table. An article on the back page of the newspaper catches your attention. An unexplained attack on a remote outpost left no survivors. You've read about 2 other similar attacks happening in the same region. You can see that forgotten corners of the globe are growing more dangerous. Ancient Guardians. Event. Spawn 2 monsters on the active expedition space. So that's on the Himalayas. So there's 2 more monsters that are going to appear. And that finally is our mythos done. So 2 monsters. It is literally kicking off. So there's 1 and 2. What have we got? We've got a Shoggoth, excellent, and a Ghost Spawn. Ghost Spawn was alright, I can deal with that. And the Shoggoth, Shoggoth has a reckoning symbol on it, so that's going to do something when it kicks off. Probably move towards me and attack me. Now it's the player turn. So we're going to start with Mark here. As I say, I'm going to move him to Rome, pick up that travel ticket. Sorry, he's going to pick up the travel ticket in the city, move to Rome, use his ship ticket to get down here to the wilderness, and then that's him done. So we're over now on to friends of General Haig says he's repairing pikemen here, ready for a game at Warlords open day next weekend. Excellent, enjoy that. Looks like gaming is definitely back on the cards for over these next few months, isn't it? Which is good to see. Okay, so I I've got to do an encounter now, but I've got to do it in the wilderness, but it's just a generic wilderness encounter. Wilderness. Past where your campfire allows you to see, you hear voices chanting. You try to draw a protective sigil in the ground. I'm going to do a lore test. Unfortunately, I've only got one lore, so I don't think this is going to go my way. Need a 5 or a 6. 6, hey, I passed it. If you pass, the next morning you find evidence of cult activity that can use to identify the cult members. Gain a clue or improve your influence. I'm going to gain a clue because that is a reroll, and I want the rerolls for when I'm fighting Cthulhu down in the ocean depths. So that was an alright encounter, wasn't it? That didn't go too bad. We've had worse than that. So I'll just stick that back in here. And that was my encounter deck. Mythos Phase comes round quick, doesn't it? So, pull this card and let's remember to go all the way to the end. Oh look, this turns round again. Tick tock, tick tock. Fortunately, we've still got no blue gates out at the moment. The only ones have got green and red. So I'm okay at the moment. But we've got Reckoning again, haven't we? Because of course we have. So we start with all the monsters on the board. So let's see, Cthulhu first of all. She's a big one. A deep white 1 monster ambushes the nearest investigator. So that jumps out at me. I've got to deal with that. So I've got to fight that first of all and then work my way through the rest of the monsters. So basically when it ambushes you, let me just we'll go through it again because I started before, but I'm going to start and do it again. When a monster ambushes an investigator, draw 1 random monster, or in this case a deep one, from the investigator immediately encounters it. The monster is not spawned. If it has a when spawned effect, do not resolve. After resolving the combat encounter, the monster is discarded even if it was not defeated. If a specific monster ambushes an investigator, do not draw a monster token. Instead, reference a monster's attributes from the token that has been set aside or is on the game board. If a cultist monster ambushes the investigator, do not draw a token. Instead, reference a cultist information on the Ancient One sheet. Unlike a normal combat encounter, if an investigator is ambushed by a monster and he defeats that monster, he cannot resolve an additional encounter. So basically that jumps on me then, doesn't it? And I have to encounter it. So yeah, I think that's probably going to be if you're doing any other encounters. But right, we've basically I've got to fight it first of all. And it has a horror of 2. So I have to beat 2 on my will. My will is 4, so that's good. I need to get 2 or above on this first of all. Oh, I haven't even got 1. 3, 3 and 1. So that means I've lost by 2. So that's giving me 2 horror out of my 4. We can quickly see where Mark's going to go, can't we? I'm going to need to rest up, I think. But then I attack him. I attack him with a strength of -1. So I'm starting with 4. I take 1 dice off. However, I've also got the 38 revolver, so I get 2 strength to add to that. So 5 dice. It has a toughness of 2 and a heart of 1. So I need to beat 1 and by 2. So I need 3 basically. I need three successes. 6, 6, 6. Perfect. There you go. 6, 6, 6 and 2 2s. So that has defeated it and got rid of it. Didn't like that much. Anyway, we're still working our way through these reckonings. So the next one is the Night Gaunt. And it says, if there is an investigator on the space, move him and the investigator 1 space and he becomes delayed. Otherwise, move the monster 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator. 1, 2. So the Night Gaunt is with me. Then we also have the zombie up here as well. Spawn the Zombie Horde epic monster on this space. If you do, discard this monster. So we've got a Zombie Horde now up in Vladivostok. So that's good, isn't it? Evening, Tom. No, it's not a map of Rotherham. I hope you had a good day today over at Bradfield. Where are you? Zombie Horde. Here we are. So that then. Zombie Horde taking over Vladivostok. Unfortunately. And then we discard the zombies. Stick them in there. So that was the zombie done. And then we've got over here, we've got the Shoggoth. This has a reckoning. This monster recovers all health. It's not lost any, so it's okay. Oh no, we've got one more. We've got the Werewolf. Werewolf. Their wolf. Move this monster one space towards the nearest investigator. Then each investigator on this space loses one health. So it's moved out here to Mesoamerica. And that's the monsters done for the reckoning. Then we have the Ancient One sheet. Each investigator on the sea space. That does not include, that's not me. Then we have the Mythos cards. So the stars are aligned. We advance the Omen by 1. Again. Bloody hell. As I say, these things, it just suddenly, everything just comes in. Right, so that means I now have to advance the Doom by 2, because we've got a Doom here, a gate in Arkham and a gate in Rome. So that goes down to 7 now, out of our original 12. A Zombie Horde sounds like pretty much every Saturday night in Rotherham. Yeah, pretty much. Brilliant day of large sharp practice. I wish I'd known about it, Tom. Let me know next time. Mind you, I wouldn't have gone anywhere because I'm isolating until I go to Austria. But I'll look out for it next year. So that was then Advance the Doom. Then we spawn a monster on space 19. And if there are 4 or more monsters on the space, advance the Doom to 0 and resolve this rumour. So time is ticking down. Right, so here we go. It is a Hound of Tindalos, and that also has a reckoning on it as well. That's another thing that I don't really want to be dealing with. But remember a while back when this board was absolutely empty of everything. There was nothing on it, and Silas was just sailing about on his yacht, fighting everything and destroying everything in his path. That was lovely, that. And now here we are, where there's literally creatures all over the world eating people. And what can I do about it? Very, very little. Right. That is... No, still doing the Mythos phase. I'm not even finished yet, have we? That was just the reckoning. And then we're spawning another gate. Hooray! So the gate spawns in Tokyo. So this is the blue one now. So every time that Omen advances, we are now pushing that Doom down. So I'm really, 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 really shoving it. And the monster that spawns there is a crazed mob in Tokyo, smashing the place up. Oh, this is going so well. This is going like every single Arkham game ever. A cold, bitter wind howls through the trees and people everywhere cling to their fires and blankets. The chill has settled into your bones and there's no warmth to be found. Tide of despair. Event. Each investigator loses 2 health and 2 sanity unless he discards a blessed condition. That's just knocked Mark out. This is horrible. Right. So he's only got 4 health, 4 sanity, and he's only got 2 left because he just lost 2. So that's taken him out as well. So he is over here dying. And I'm going to put those together over here. So another investigator may or may not be able to find those. I have to admit, I want to be to Rotherham on Saturday night, so it might be right. Hey, there's nothing wrong with Rotherham on a Saturday night. There used to be some good times. Okay, so that was a Mythos phase, so I've now got to choose a new investigator. That happened quick, didn't it? Right, I'm just going to keep pulling him out from the bottom. This time I'm going to go with Michael McGlenn. I'm fed up of just getting random ones. Right, this guy. He starts in London. He's got a Tommy gun. Yay! When the Urbanian gang needs to send a message, they send the big man Michael McGlenn. Not long ago, his friend Fast Louis Farrell was attacked by a bunch of inhuman things, ugly fish-like faces. They sliced him up and dragged him under the water. McGlenn took it personally. The word has spread. McGlenn has loaded up his Thompson, and everyone else had best get out of his way. His first stop is to London, where he intends to find out what these creatures are called and where he has to go to kill every last one of them. Okay. So let's have a look at him. He's got a strength of 8, a sanity of 4. An action: if you're on a city space, you may gain 1 item or service asset of your choice from the reserve. If you do, gain a wanted condition. Once per round, you may reroll 1 dice when resolving a deal or pursuit condition effect. So that's good. His lore is 2, his influence is 3, observation 1, strength 4, and will 3. And what does it say? He starts off with a Tommy gun as well. So let me find a Tommy gun. Then I'll find his... Unfortunately, he's all the way up in London, which is a bit annoying. But let's see if he can get a little bit further on than both Mark and Silas at this point. There's literally going to be... there we are, Tommy gun. Gain +4 strength during combat encounters, so that's pretty good. That takes him up to a strength of 7 then, which is what we really want. Let me find his little character. Where are you? Blazing away with his little Tommy gun for all he's worth. Where is he? There we are, Michael McGlenn. I do quite like this character actually. He's a good one because of that strength. I'm going to take Silas's thing here, and we start. It says in London. Great, miles away again, about as far away as Mark was. So the chances of me actually getting down to fight this creature are pretty slim at this point. Is there a quicker way? Let's just have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4 that way, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, it's quicker to go that way through Arkham. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Right, that was the end of the Mythos phase. So it is now the new action phase. So he's got 2 actions, and I'm against the clock massively at this point. So I'm going to get a C token. I'm going to prepare to travel as my first action. Second action is then to move to Arkham, and I'm going to spend that C token to get me out to space 8 instead there, just to shift me along a bit. And that's it. That's all I'm doing. That's all I can do. I'm not going to try and pick anything up. So it's my encounter phase, and I'm on a generic area, so I just pick the generic encounters. On the sea, you discover a signal fire on a small island, but you don't find any people. You search the beach for signs of life. I have to do an observation test of observation of 1. That's great. A 1, that's a fail. If you fail, the mystery remains unsolved. Gain a paranoia condition. Excellent. Can't get better than this, can it? So I've got to find that paranoia condition. First one that I find. Where are you? There's got to be one in here. I think I know what they look like. Hallucinations, head injury, blessed, studious, paranoia. Madness. When you perform a rest action, you may roll 1 dice. On a 5 or a 6, discard this card. Otherwise, on the reckoning, I have to test my willpower. If I fail, I flip the card. And we all know that's not going to be good, is it? Because nothing ever good happens on reckonings. Right, where are we at? Apart from up the creek without the paddle. So that was my encounter. So we're straight back to the Mythos phase, aren't we? So we flip this card. We move the Omen on. That goes on to blue. So is there any blue ones on? Yes, there probably is. Yep, Tokyo. So Doom goes down by 1. So we're on 6 now. Before the Great Old One wakes, we also get a Monster Surge. So, where does the monster appear? Resolve a Monster Surge on each space containing the gate that corresponds to the current Omen. or spawn 1 gator through a none on the game board. So in Tokyo, along with the mob, but at least we get to spawn a clue this time. There isn't a reckoning. It's all been reckoning so far. So, Star Vampire. The Star Vampire starts when this monster is spawned. Advance the omen by 1, unless investigators as a group spend 2 clues. Well, I don't have any clues, do I? So that spawns in Tokyo. The omen advances by 1, so that goes on to green. So green is, there's 1, 2, and green, so that drops me straight down to 4. These rituals are really speeding up now, so that's good. And then we draw a clue, spawn a clue in number 10. One thing I always forget is you're supposed to discard these once they're gone. I always forget to do that. Never mind, it doesn't really break the game because the game always breaks me. Where is number 10? It is... it's where the star spot and the Night Gaunt is. So that's over there. And the body of poor old Mark Harrigan. He went through the first war and he ends up like that. Strong Grigri, the old man told you. You've been wearing a pouch around your neck ever since New Orleans. You wanted to spill blood for you, he draws. You asked to spill your blood for the Grigri. Blood flows. Event. The lead investigator discards 1 monster of his choice and loses health equal to its toughness. So we can discard a monster. Well, I don't like that Night Gaunt because it keeps coming at me, I think. It has a toughness of 2. Well, I can take 2. Well, it says monster, so I'm assuming it's not an epic monster, because otherwise I could just discard Cthulhu, but I don't think that's in the spirit of the game, is it? So I'll discard the Night Gaunt and I take 2 damage for that. And I can take 8, so 2 is nothing. I need to throw myself on that monster. So that was it. That was a Mythos done. So that's not too bad. That was probably the nicest one we've had for a while, wasn't it? So it's my move again. First action. Well, I've got to get myself down to Buenos Aires. Is there anything I could do with here? Then I'll tell you what, I'm going to focus, and I'm going to focus my willpower because I'm going to need it in the forthcoming battle. So that's all I'm doing. No, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to rest. So I'm going to take off one of that damage I just took, and then when I rest I roll the dice. On a 5 or a 6 I can discard this paranoia condition. 6, yay, so I can get rid of the paranoia. So I rested up, realised, good night Tom, sleep well, it's only from 9 o'clock. So that's Michael McGlenn's turn over. So it's his encounter, so he's in Buenos Aires. I'll just do a Buenos Aires encounter, let's have a look. In an ancient underground chamber, you study strange scientific and magical paraphernalia once used by the Serpent Men. Do a test of law. It's only 2 for Michael. 4 and 5, I've passed. If you pass, you manipulate the devices to transform yourself and gain a blessed condition. If you fail, yada yada yada, I don't need to do that, so I get a blessed condition. That is very useful, I think, at this point. I saw there was a blessed one up here, so I'm just going to take that. The first one I see. Where are you? Where are you? Headstrong, righteous, righteous, righteous. Light, skullduggery, but blessed. There we go. Boon, 4, 5s and 6s count as a success on your tests. If you will gain another blessed condition, flip the card instead. If you will gain a cursed condition, discard this card instead. And then on the reckoning, roll over dice. On a 1 or a 2, I discard the card. That's going to be very useful for me when I get some fighting. Good night all and happy gaming, Alex. Hope to see you some Friday when you and I are free. Yes, well, when I get back from Austria, Tom, first of all. But yes, more than happy to meet up on a Friday. Right, that was my encounter. So at least I'm blessed. But then now we go on to Mythos Phase. because we like this, don't we? So the old tick-tock turns around, so that's onto blue now. So we've got one, just one gate, so we're still, it's taking me down to 3. Then we have the reckoning, of course we do. So we do all the monsters. So the first one is, well, it's going to be Cthulhu, isn't it? First of all, deep one ambushes the nearest investigator. So the deep one comes in here. So I've got to fight it. I've got to do a willpower first of all. I've only got 3 against its 2. So look, a 5, a 4 and a 3, so that's 1 pass. So I take 1 horror for that. So I failed 1, but then I get to fight it. So I've got 4 strength plus 4. Oh, 4, 5s and 6s count. So yes, I got a 4, didn't I? So I can ignore that on my tests. So I've got 4 strength plus 4 for the weapon, but minus 1 for its weapon. It's only got 2, so I'm rolling 7 dice. So this is the first 5. We've got one hit out of those, and I've got 2 more rolls. 5 and a 4, so that's 3 hits. So yes, it's absorbed. It's taken all those hits, so I've knocked it out, and I haven't taken any damage. Yay! Machine gunned it to death. Give it some proper Tommy gun there, didn't we? So that was Cthulhu. So now we've got Werewolf. I think it just moves, doesn't it? Move this monster 1 space towards the nearest investigator. Then each investigator on its space loses a health. So right, so that's coming out to Buenos Aires now. And I lose a health for that. So I'm down by 2. Then we've got, check them all out. This one here. This monster recovers all health. That's a Shoggoth in the Himalayas. So we can ignore that. We've got this one. This is the Crazed Mob. Roll a die on a 1 or a 2. Advance the doom by 1. So roll 1 dice. 2. Great. Doom advances. So that's now on 2. And then we've got the Zombie Horde, and we've also got the Hound of Tindalos over in. We'll do the Hound of Tindalos first. Move this monster to the nearest space containing an investigator. Then an investigator on that space immediately encounters it. So it moves to the nearest space containing. So it has to move to there. So then I've got to fight this. So we'll do the Zombie Horde in a second. So it has a will first of all of 2 against my 3. But I am successful on 4, 5, 6s. And that's 5 and a 6 and a 3. It has 2, so I'm okay there. I've passed it. It has a -1 on its strength, so I'm rolling 7 dice again against it, but it's got a damage of 3. So let's see, that's 1 success. 2 successes. So it takes 2 damage, but it's got a strength of 3, so it gives me 1 damage, but it takes 2 out of its 3. That's the Hound of Tindalos. God, I'm getting hammered here, left, right and centre already, aren't I? And then, finally, we got the Zombie Horde. Roll a die on a 1 or a 2, advance the doom. 6, no. Got off slightly lightly there. Slightly lightly. I'm going to swap those out and put the 3 marker in instead. So a little bit tidy up. This is still the reckoning, by the way. This still hasn't ended yet. Cthulhu. If I'm on a sea space, again Eldritch token. I'm not, so I don't. I don't think there's any other reckonings. Oh no, there is. Of course there is. Advance the human by 1. That was that one, wasn't it? Was that? No, we advanced the human elsewhere, didn't we? So yeah, we advanced the human again. So that comes round to red, and there's 1, 2 reds. Zip, zip. Okay, we've hit 0. 0 doom. Cthulhu has awoken, so we flip the sheet. So this is not good. This is not good at all. Risen from the sea says the final mystery. At last, the time has come. The deep ones have broken the elder sign that keep their master asleep. Cthulhu rises again, and madness fills the dream of every living thing. When 3 mysteries have been solved, Cthulhu rises from the sea. Spawn the Cthulhu epic monster on space 3. When the Cthulhu epic monster is defeated, the final mystery is solved. However, this is the bottom one. So yes, it's no, we just have to... This is when the elder god flips, isn't it? I'm just being sure about this. When they reach 0, we flip their card. The Ancient One awakens. When the Doom tokens reach 0 space, the Doom track, the Ancient One awakens. Flip the Ancient One sheet and immediately resolve the Awakens effect, if any. Oh, it's up here. Oh, there isn't one. In the upper left corner. The sheet remains face down for the rest of the game, and its effects replace those found on the front of the sheet. The back of the Ancient One sheet also describes how the investigators can lose the game. And... alright. So when Cthulhu awakens, what happens? I'm assuming we spawn him on space 3. The Cthulhu epic monster. So let me get him. Dig him out of here somewhere. There he is. The big lad. On space 3, so he's down here. With that mystery, and that's Eldritch. When an investigator moves onto a space containing an Eldritch token, he becomes delayed, loses sanity, and place a sanity token on the sheet. Each time Doom would advance, place 1 sanity token on the sheet instead. Each investigator loses a sanity for each sanity token on this sheet. Then all investigators have been eliminated. Investigators lose the game. Each time Doom would advance, place a sanity on the... Right. Okay, I see it. So basically... every time we advance Doom, a sanity goes there. Every time a sanity goes there, 1 goes onto there. So basically I've got 4 turns of Doom advancing before anything before I get defeated. So this is not good, is it, at all? That was still the Reckoning. We still haven't finished yet. That was that Reckoning. Because that was a Doom disappearing. So returning the Ancient Ones, spawn 1 monster on space 19, then if there are 4 more monsters on space 19, advance Doom to 0 and solve this rumour. There is still only 2 there, but it's an Evian Thrall. That appears up there. Vladivostok's getting it, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to win this, because now that the Doom is on 0, if I get defeated, either by sanity or by health, I can't spawn a new investigator because the Great Old One has risen. So that is the issue. So I've basically got to try and finish Cthulhu off now, or I am banjaxed. And I don't think I'm going to do it. But we'll see. I think there's too many monsters on the board at this point. I am next to him, so I can actually go and get him. This is still the Mythos phase. We still have it says from bad to worse. Yeah, you don't say. So we've got that's all that has happened. We advanced. We've done all the reckoning. We've got a new gate spawns in Buenos Aires, of course, where I am, with another monster. And that is a Deep One hybrid. Perfect for Cthulhu. I don't think I'm getting lost, am I? I don't think I missed anything here. That's the problem with these games, is just keeping track of what the hell is actually happening. I think I've done everything step by step. I'm still losing, so I must be doing everything right. So that was a spawn of the gate. And it says, piece by piece, you are falling apart. It's getting harder to successfully negotiate simple human interactions. Yeah, you don't say. Your wounds won't stop bleeding. Your hands won't stop shaking. From bad to worse. Event. Each investigator loses 1 health for each injury condition they have, loses 1 sanity for each madness condition they have, and discards 1 clue for each deal condition. Well, I don't have any of those, so I've survived that at least pretty well. Well, I do have to go and now fight Cthulhu, which I'm not looking forward to, because when I'm on, when I get any kind of Eldritch token over here, I become delayed and lose a sanity. Well, I can't do anything then, can I? I'm absolutely banjaxed here. Well, I could go to it. I could move there. It's my actions now. That was the Mythos phase. I'm trying to think of what to do. Because if I move to this space with the Eldritch token on it, I become delayed, I lose a sanity, and also place a sanity on this sheet. And it says, on the reckoning, each investigator loses a sanity for the sanity on the sheet. So I'll lose a sanity for going there, plus I'll lose a sanity on the reckoning as well. But I need to go there to fight Cthulhu, but if I go there I'll get delayed, so I can't do anything next turn. And it means I won't be able to... I'll have a combat encounter, but that'll be it. But then next turn I won't be able to do anything. But then I kind of need to get there to not do anything, to do something. Right, look. Stop blabbering. Right, I'm going to rest. I don't think I can rest when there's a monster there. When there's millions of monsters there. Spaces without monsters only. Brilliant. And I don't think I can focus either. As well. When there's monsters on there. Let's just have a look. Focus. Game 1 focus. Yeah, I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus my will. It can be used to re-roll a dice at least. So I'm going to do that. So that's my first action. Second action, I'm getting the flip out of Buenos Aires, and I'm going to go and face off against Cthulhu. So I will become delayed because of the Eldritch token, and I lose a sanity and also place a sanity on this sheet of Cthulhu as well. So I take a sanity, and the sanity goes on there. And he says, for every sanity on this, I take a sanity token as well in the reckoning. So I basically got to beat Cthulhu in this turn. Otherwise, game over, man. Game over. Let's see. It's the encounter phase, and I've got to encounter the monster. The monster is Cthulhu. Right, so let's start as we mean to go on. He has 5 will, first of all. So I don't think I'm going to win this. I am starting with 3. I can re-roll 1 because I've focused. He minuses 2. So I'm dead. I am literally dead. I needed somebody with higher willpower to take him on. We got no chance. Go down fighting. Good point, Tom. Yeah, absolutely. I've already gone down fighting. So, working this out. He takes... I need to beat 5 will. Otherwise, I take damage. He minuses 2 off mine. I've got 3, so that takes me down to 1. The most I can beat is 1. Even if I pass, and even if I get to re-roll 1, I can only beat 1. He will then cause 4 on me. I've already got 1, and I can only take 4 sanity. So that will take me up to 5. That will kill me. Cthulhu wins. Game over. Literally game over. I can't do any more than that. That's it. I've lost the game. Do you remember about an hour ago when I was playing this and we had Silas, and he was literally about to stomp Cthulhu, and literally about to actually finish and win the game, but he got stopped by the sanity. Well, almost exactly the same as happened here with Tommy. With Michael McGlynn and with Tommy as well. He got taken out. Both of those guys everybody went down fighting. Then poor old Tommy only got 2 spaces before he got taken out. So yeah, that's it. That's Eldritch Horror. That is literally how 99% of my games of this end up. I'm going to switch off now. I'm going to go and cry myself to sleep, I think. If you've enjoyed watching this, say so. Give me a shout out. I hope you have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing it. Great game. Always a great game. I never go into these things expecting to win, because there's literally no point doing that. What we're saying, you should have done a tactical withdrawal. Don't worry, you can become a zombie. Yeah, I think I've gone pretty mindless, I think, rather than a zombie. But yes, indeed, there was no way of getting out of that one. If I'd a tactically withdrawal, everything had come after me anyway, like the Hoard and the Tinderloss and the Werewolf and the mobs and things. So yes, I would have been dead in the next Mythos phase. Let's just check. Yeah, there was a reckoning on the next Mythos phase anyway. So that would have just put everything onto Cthulhu's card, which would have just all piled onto me as well. Can you ever win? Oh, well, come on, you Cthulhu Overlords. Yes, me too, Steve. Yes, me too. Can you ever win? Great video, thanks. Yes, you can. You just have to be quick. I mean, I almost got to the end of it by beating Cthulhu with Silas. Maybe with this game's a bit easier with 2 or more players. I think 3 players is probably the sweet spot on this, because one of you can be going and closing down the gates, stopping the Doom advancing, while 2 of you are actually chasing after the game. You only caught 10 minutes, but I enjoyed it. Eldritch Horror doesn't hold the punches. No, probably have nightmares. I think I will. Yes. No, it certainly doesn't hold the punches. It's all these Arkham Files games. They are nasty, and you go into and play thinking that I know I'm not going to win, or there's a good chance I'm not going to win. I don't mind it, because if you read any H.P. Lovecraft, nobody comes out well at the end of it. So it's thematic, if nothing else. But it is a difficult game. It's just a tough one. It's a little bit like Pandemic, in that you've got things just keep popping up. So this one's a little bit more abstract than the other Arkham Files games, like Arkham Horror 3rd edition board game, and what else we got over there? Well, this is Eldritch Horror, Arkham Horror. Mansions of Madness is another one. Is another good one, but that one's in the house. I mentioned all this at the start, but if you weren't watching it, and then Arkham Horror Living Card Game kind of spawns across the world as well. This is a good one for a Saturday night game with some mates. As I say, I think the sweet spot is about 3 players really with this. 3, maybe 4 players might be pushing it a bit, but 3 is we've had good games with it. I can't remember if we've ever actually won it, but I did come close, and that is good enough for me. At least I got to the monster, and at least I did attack him. Right, so anyway, thank you everybody for watching. As I say, I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, tell your friends. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, and I will see you in the next... Well, actually, no more videos for 2 more weeks, because I'm going to be on holiday. So enjoy the silence for a little while, and good night.